So here are your materials for the Kaleidocycle practice. Try to have all of these. Ruler is optional, but super helpful. I'm going to begin by looking at the top row of diamonds. So these 3 diamonds that connect on the points are one row. And to show that you understand that those 3 go together, I want you to label them all with the A. So I'm writing a nice big capital A with my Sharpie pen so that it's bold. You can certainly write it in pencil, but it looks a little bit better if you choose to work with the Sharpie pen. For the second row of 2 diamonds that are solid and 2 half diamonds, I'm going to write in letters B. So 2 whole B's, and as you can see, half B's on the triangles on the side. Sorry, I had that out of view. For the third row, I'm going to write the big capital letters C, and at the bottom, on the 2 whole diamonds, D's, and then half D on the right, and finish the other half D on the left to show that when this is put together, they'll connect. Now, I would like you to go ahead and grab some colors to also color code the different parts and pieces that work together. So I decided to do red for my row of A's and orange for my row of B's and yellow for C's and green for D's. You can do any colors you want though, just to show that they're similar. So if I look at my directions printed on the Kaleidocycle template, it says number 1, score all vertical and diagonal lines. This step is optional, but it's really helpful. And in order to do it, you should grab your notebook or like a thick pile of papers to go underneath, and you would need a ruler. And you can actually use the wooden stylus that is in your art supply kit. So if you don't have the art supply kit, you can use a ballpoint pen, or you can use a very dull pencil, but you don't want to choose something that's going to rip your paper. And so here's my wooden stylus. The point of this is you indent the paper. So I'm going to line my ruler up on one of the lines I want to score and draw over it with the wooden stylus. When I flip my paper, you'll see that there's sort of a line. See that there? It's like a fold that's just waiting for me. So I'm going to go through, I need to do all of the diagonals. So there are 4 that are diagonal down to the right, 4 diagonal down to the left. And then I also have to do all of the verticals. Now that I'm done, I can flip my paper over and basically see the whole outline of the template on the back. If I look at my directions now, step 2 is to cut out the kaleidocycle on the heavy black lines. So do not cut off the white triangles at the bottom, and do not cut off the tabs on the side. So if you notice, I'm just following around the outside edge, cutting on the heavy black lines. So now if I check my directions again, step 3 is fold all the vertical lines, that means the up and down ones, with the colored sides together. So if you have the scores, it's pretty easy. If you don't, the paper is thin, so you can kind of look through it and see where those lines are. Notice I'm not rolling it up into like a packet. I'm folding, pressing it down pretty good with my fingers to get a good crease, and then I'm unfolding again. You can even pick it up and crease with your fingernails if you have them, because the sharper your crease, the better your kaleidocycle is going to turn. So it's a great idea to make sure you have nice, sharp creases, because the paper will bend and fold there better. Now, if I look again, my step 4 is fold all the diagonal lines with the blank side together, the mountain fold. So I'm going to fold these backwards. This is going to be much easier to do if you didn't score. So you can see your lines this way. It's a little bit better. But if you scored, you'll notice your paper just kind of folds where it's supposed to. You don't have to really look at it that much, and you don't have to try very hard. Now, this is not enough. Remember, I have direct diagonals going in both directions, down to the left and then down to the right. So I need to make sure I hit all of those. If you fold your kaleidocycle this way, it will almost put itself together. So check this out. Now that I have all my folds, I can just kind of gently encourage it into sort of a tubular shape. So there's no curves here. Everything is a sharp crease, but do you see how these just kind of go right on top of those white triangles? Now I grab my glue stick. I'm going to put a nice, generous amount of glue on that entire white triangle. Don't be chintzy about it. You want it to stick. So I'm really going to press it on there very good, all three at once, although you can do one at a time if you're nervous, like the directions say. And then just go ahead and lay each triangle in its appropriate tab and line it up very nicely. So my glue was nice and thick and it's sticking really, really well. You will probably need to hold yours each time you add one to make sure it stays in the right spot. So the final step here is to encourage this into the ring shape. So you want to have the right letter up, otherwise it's not going to work. And see how I can tuck the tail of my snake, if you will, into its own mouth. It's going to eat its own tail. Glue on both sides of that tail. And I'm going to gently encourage it back into the ring shape. And I'm going to tuck the tabs inside, not outside. And then you're going to have to pinch and hold. Again, you should probably wait like a whole minute. Just hold it. But I'm going to do this fast because I like to live dangerously. And now I can gently spin this around to see each set of diamonds from each letter of design, A, B, C, and D, matching up and right next to each other. That is what your finished kaleidocycle would look like